5:30. We'll start with roll call attendance. Brittany Wold. Sarah Feeney.
Here.
Joseph Bryant.
Here.
Sharon Jonasson. Todd Shiver.
Here.
John Dehan.
Yes, sir.
Nick Shuey is not here. Gary Epp.
Here.
Chase Tibbles.
Here.
Jessica Evenson.
Here.
Patrick Stanton. Renee Mankey.
Here.
Joshua Mutard. And I. Alright, I'd like to, for everybody to go ahead and look at the agenda for today's meeting. Any comments, additions, subtractions? I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is. Josh? Second? Oh, so moved, yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
Chase Tibble seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. And go on to approval of minutes from the minutes of December 3rd, 2014. You guys a minute to review those.
I noticed an error on there. I had to leave right after we took pictures, and I'm listed as making a motion and being there. So
That's impressive.
I mean, two places at once sometimes.
Do you know who made that motion? Or
I do. Yeah, I think I did.
Jessica?
Huh?
Jessica?
Yeah, it was me.
It's definitely
It was definitely. Okay. It was just. No, and then so Sarah wasn't here for the meeting either.
No, I
After
just
the
was there
voting.
taking pictures.
we need that correction. Are there any other comments or corrections to the minutes? December 3rd? I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from December 3rd as corrected by Sarah Feeney and Jessica Evenson. Josh Mutard. Is there a second? Jessica Evenson second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? Nick Shuey and Sarah Feeney abstain. Motion carried. All right, go to the reports section. I do not have any reports.
Well, I guess report. I'll let Sharon introduce those of you who know. Ed Day has left the university, took a position at the hospital, so he's no longer the student funds financial manager and therefore cannot be our advisor on the fiscal side. So Sharon has joined us, who has been the fiscal advisor for the last couple of years. So she knows what she's doing and talking about with everything. So we are glad to have her here joining us. I don't know if you have any other updates to add with that.
I'm just glad to be back and working with the students. It was an interim appointment that had me leaving, so I planned on doing
Yes, we're glad to have her back. The only other updates or reports I have is we have received all of our annual reports, did get in from our base funding, even though some of them just got in before this meeting, but they all made it. So that some were a little bit late, but we have received them. They will be posted online once we get all of them together and put on there here shortly. As well as we will start having program reviews starting next week of our base funding groups coming. Next week we have Observer and I believe Legislative Affairs will be presenting next week. And so for the rest of the year, we'll have 4 base funding each month, typically the 2nd and 4th week of the month.
Cool. At this time, I'd like to open up the floor to any public comment. Seeing none, we move to old business, which we also have none. So we can move to new business, section 8. And we have subsection A, supplemental funding request 1506, Student Fashion Association Field Experience for the amount of $10,000.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
You can go into
You have 10 minutes to answer questions. I'm going to start. I'm going to move so you can be here.
Okay, I'm Riley Remicki. I'm Senator for Student Fashion Association, and I'm here to request $10,000 for our field experience trip over spring break to New York City. So just a little bit about our club. We're a group of students who are really interested and passionate about studying fashion. And most of us are either apparel, textiles, and merchandising majors and minors, but anybody can join the group. And there's a lot of diverse people going on this trip, not just ATM majors. And our mission is just to give our members as many real-life insights into the fashion industry, and we do this through a lot of our fashion-focused community service projects, our fundraising, and personal projects. And these trips that we do every year, they rotate between New York City, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, and all these community service projects and fundraising go towards these trips to kind of serve as a stepping stone for our members to get an inside look to the industry. So 21 students will be attending, and like I said earlier, it's not just all ATM majors. There's music majors, business majors, and psychology majors going, so there's a big group of us from all different aspects, and we really want to focus on the diversity of the experience through tour locations and cultural excursions. And our travel dates, we will be leaving Sunday, March 22nd, and getting back to Ellensburg Saturday, March 28th. And the learning objectives we will get from this trip, we will be able to identify potential professions in the apparel field, determine professional training that will require a bunch of individual academic preparation. We can research potential internship opportunities, and this is also a great way for students to network with apparel industry professionals. And a look at our daily itinerary, like we'll be getting there the 22nd. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we will tour various apparel vendors, designers, and showrooms. And we'll have about 3 to 4 tours each day, and they will last at least 2 hours. And we won't know the exact locations that we'll be going to until 1 month before the trip. But these are just some of the places that they've gone to in the past. Thursday and Friday are kind of our free days to conduct fashion trend research throughout the city, engage in local cultural activities, visit local cultural. I didn't make this PowerPoint. Visit the Menke Museum and also meet with some of the alumni that have gotten jobs there. And then Saturday we will fly home. So just to break down, each person going will roughly be spending about $1,200 out of their own pocket. And so this just shows a breakdown of where all of that money will go to. And the $10,000 will help with just travel funds and getting to and from the airport. And then, so fundraising during homecoming week this year, we sold Krispy Kreme donuts. We participated in Wear Fair. We did a Sensi fundraiser, and then we also participate in the Fairy Godmother Project, and that's where members in our club, they donate gently used dresses, and we kind of hold a little mini store up here for girls to come and purchase dresses for no more than $40 if they can't afford a nice one for prom. And then the average student usually fundraises between $40 and $120, just depending on how much each fundraiser makes, and then the hours the student works for that fundraiser. And one of the ways we are saving money for this trip is we are staying at a hostel instead of a hotel. we did a lot of fundraising this past quarter, and then the flights that were booked at the times were also to save probably as well. And then the map just shows where our hotel is located at, and then kind of the cultural landmarks. So we aren't staying in the tourist area, so that also saves money kind of being out from Times Square and all the tourist areas. Any questions?
Nick?
Sure. So you mentioned that you also raised money for Sensi fundraiser Warfare.
Mhm.
How much were you able to fundraise there?
I am not sure how much money. We just submitted our orders and distributed them out to the customers that we ordered from. I'm not exactly sure, but for the Krispy Kremes, we raised $265.
I got a question. So you guys listed that you had $2,865 in your club account, and in your budget, you did not list any of that money as being dedicated towards this day?
Yeah, those were, I turned this in before we did the fundraisers for that, so I wasn't sure how much we made.
Right, but if this was your club balance up here at the time you were completing the application, were any of those funds going to be dedicated towards the trip?
This is my first time doing this, I'm not sure. I can always get in contact with my professor and make sure.
So you said 21 students are going?
Yeah.
How are the students chosen to go on the trip?
There's an application process. We have a series of questions that they're supposed to turn in by a date, and then we go through and kind of evaluate, make sure they answered all of the questions correctly. And it says if you're a major or minor in the program, but it doesn't. Everybody's welcome, but yeah, we just have them answer a bunch of questions, kind of like submit a paper, and then we go through and evaluate, make sure they got all the aspects that were asked.
So were there applicants then that got
They weren't.
declined? I guess you could say.
Most of the time, everybody gets, we just kind of want to make sure it's not a free-for-all. Like, we get to go on the trip, but we kind of want to make it kind of serious trip.
I got a couple questions. In your cost per person, you said it's going to cost each person roughly around $1,200 per person that they're paying out of pocket.
Yeah, we made our final payment yesterday, so we made 3 payments around $400 so
Okay.
far.
So the $10,000 you're asking for, is it for an addition to any of that? That's just going to go to reimbursement. Is that what you're? Is that
It's going to help towards like the airfare and shuttles.
Right. So since people are paying out of the pocket, they'd be reimbursed for that, correct? Is that what you're assuming? That the money's going to them. It's not like you guys are getting $10,000 to spend on something else.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I'm not answering everybody's questions right. I've never done this before.
No,
so
it's
sorry.
But did you include a food cost anywhere on there? 'Cause that would be an out-of-pocket expense as well.
Yeah, we just figured there's like where we're located, there's Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, so we just kind of figured, okay, we can kind of take on breakfast as ourselves, but just plan on $20 to $30 every night for lunch and dinner. And some of the tours we're going on, we kind of came up with activities that included food if you do a cost for a tour, so we're just kind of doing that out of our own pocket.
So the food will be out of your pocket?
Yeah.
But that's still an additional expense though for each student.
Yeah.
And New York's not cheap.
So this trip, is this like a guided tour by like someone in like the fashion industry, or is this?
Our professor, she has a lot of connections, so a lot of the tours that we got with our hostel, that's included in the cost, so she she will go on the tours with us, but they're just guided tours through who she knows through these like girl showrooms and designers and stuff. So they'll be guided, and then she'll. Yeah.
So at the time of submitting this form, Sharon already pointed out there was $2,865.42. What does that money usually contribute to towards during the academic year? Do you know what you guys usually spend on for other items outside of this trip?
Just, I guess, advertising, I guess, like when we do fundraising, if we need to go to the craft store or something.
So if you had to contribute all 100% of these funds, would you still be able to operate as a club without having to raise more money?
I think so.
Have you applied to any of the other funding sources with the university?
Yeah, I presented at Club Senate for $1,500.
Okay, and what's the status of that?
We got the $1,500.
Okay, so that's not listed on.
It's on
This
this
is-
list. You just scroll up
It
right
hasn't
there.
been committed.
Right, it's not listed in the budget here. Okay, and is the professor's costs included in that 2,500?
No, it's just yeah.
Since we'll be voting on this next week, and I think there's some questions, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone on the committee, but would it be possible for you to find out the totals that were raised during those fundraisers that you've done over the break, the Cincy fundraiser and the Ware Fair,
Yes.
to send that over?
Yeah, I could do that.
And also if you can see what of the club account is going to be dedicated, if there's been that decision yet.
Okay, yeah, I can do
Thank you.
that.
Just look at, you said that you had requested and got approved from Club Senate. Have you requested already to Academic Senate? It has it listed on here. It says 1,500 to Academic Senate requested.
I believe so. I know there's one more. Yeah, there's like 4 packets. I believe I've turned that in. The only one I have left is the SAS. So I can return it.
Yes.
So I think what we would like is for an updated one of this sheet turned in that says all of your funds that either, so put Club Senate either requested or approved if it's been approved in the dollar amount.
Okay.
And then how much of the club funds are committed and those listed so that we have a full picture of the total funds that either requested or committed. So we see more than just $265.
Okay. I can do that.
It would also be nice to see how much you plan to dedicate personally, because you mentioned $1,200 per person, but that like covers the whole cost of the trip. So, what portion of that were you guys anticipating? $1,200 is a lot for a student to spend. So, what portion of that do you think is reasonable, or you're proposing that each student incur? That would be really nice to have up there too.
Sarah,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, I contribute. So what it comes out to really is that's the out-of-pocket expense up front. They're going to be reimbursed the majority of that money. So they haven't contributed solely themselves yet. That's money that it's cost per person of the trip. That's
Oh,
not,
okay,
that's not how
so-
much they're contributing.
Oh, okay.
That's a
I was
cost on a
confused.
per person basis.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's what I'm asking for then, is their contribution from the
So-
individuals, like for food, like Dr. Sugar brought up, or whatever other sort of personal expenses you're anticipating that people are just gonna incur on their own.
Any other questions from the committee? All right, thank you. All right, moving on to section 9, other business, communications received. I have not received any communication.
I did receive a thank you card over the break, and I'll just read it. There's a number of comments on here. I'll read them. Service and activity committee members, your resounding support was extremely encouraging. We look forward to producing huge results with the opportunities you provide to our students. Thank you for your thoughtful decision and continued support. of the challenge course and OPR. And there's a number of other people signing saying thank you, your support for keeping our progress. Improvement of the challenge course is extremely appreciated. And other people saying thank you, signed by the staff, the student staff over in that office.
Other than the thing here.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, moving on to section 10, public comment, second call.
I do have one that I forgot to put under. I may not be here next Wednesday. I'm coming from a conference at UW Tacoma. So there's a possibility I might make it, but I might not. We'll see how traffic is. It ends at 3:30. So, yeah. And whether the pass is even open at that point. So
Right.
there's a possibility I won't be here next week. But I will try.
Cool, and at this time, I'd like to move to section 11 of the adjournment and entertain a motion for an adjournment. Is there a second? Nick Shui seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. I'd like to remind everybody that our next meeting is next Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. We are adjourned.